Want to know how I lost 30 pounds and how I plan to do it again? Well, stick around. My name is Michael James with FoodieandFit, and with this video series, I want to talk about my personal journey with eating good food, losing weight, and how I managed to balance between the two. If this is the kind of content you're looking for, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get on to it. So in about 2016, I lost 30 pounds. And it was a process because I don't know if you've ever lost weight or if you've ever been, if you're looking at this content, you probably have thought about losing weight, or you've lost weight, or you want to get into that. So for me, I was actually able to do it. One of the things I did was I started meal prepping. Meal prepping was a huge game changer for me, and not just make a lunch or do anything like that. What I started doing was I'd buy my food in bulk from Costco. So once I started tracking my macros and weighing my food out, I realized that, hey, I would make my food, but I wouldn't eat it because I wasn't, especially at the end of a long day, I just didn't really want to focus on cooking meals. So I started pre-cooking my meals, or I would make things and like pre-cook the protein and have things set up so at the end of a long day, I could just eat my food and enjoy. So I was in South Carolina at the time when I started doing food prep, and like that was one of the key things that helped me lose weight, because if you don't have a good nutrition, like there's no way you're going to lose weight. You can't just simply say, hey, I'm going to eat healthy and assume you're eating healthy. When I first started buying things from Costco, I'd buy those pork loin medallions, and I would eat one of those. I'd eat some green beans and other things, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm eating healthy. I'm cooking this myself. It wasn't until I started weighing my food and tracking my macros and understanding like, hey, what macronutrients are and like what I should be eating as a guy who lifts weights. Hey, I might want a more protein heavy a macro split. So when I weighed one of those medallions and it was like 10 ounces. And I entered into MyFitnessPal, and then I realized, oh, hey, I was supposed to have like 4 to 8 ounces, and these things are like 10 to 12 ounces. So that was a game changer when I started tracking my macros. After that, what I would do just to make it easier so I'd actually eat the food was I use my food saver. So you put the food into the pouch, it takes all the air out, so it keeps things fresher longer. I grew up hating leftovers. So for me, I'm not one of those people that wants to eat the same thing the day after, the day after, the day after, just because it doesn't taste that good. So a food saver keeps things fresh. I was able to either, if I pre-cook something, things would maintain a good flavor, or if it was just extra food from buying in bulk, I just tossed that in my freezer and I would just have ample food for the month. After that, so it wasn't just the macro tracking and it wasn't just the food saving, just because those were things that were beneficial for my nutrition. But then it was also, I started walking. So 2015, I got a Fitbit, not this one. I always like to stick to the latest and greatest. But the Fitbit got me thinking about what am I doing throughout the course of my day. So I've been working out off and on for a couple years, and but I would never lose weight past a certain point. So in 2015, I got down to 230, sometimes bouncing down to 225, but I wasn't really seeing any real changes. So when I got my Fitbit, it's like, okay, you see those daily step challenges to get 10,000 steps. And I thought, okay, well, that's what I'm supposed to get. And I wasn't getting those. I mean, you can look at my initial graphs for the charts. So that's why I love Fitbit. It gives you so much information. That was a struggle. And then I started going more outside of my way to walk more, take the stairs, park further out, do those little cheats just to get more and more steps. So once I started doing that, I started really seeing the gains that I wanted in terms of, hey, I hit 10,000. But the nice thing with Fitbit, and that's the thing that puts me over with them versus any other categories, is some of the challenges that you can do and the competitions you can get into with your friends. So I think I got a lot of my extended family into Fitbits simply just because I kept regularly posting and sharing my goals and my challenges. And then so a lot of people started getting Fitbits and we would have these competitions. So instead of just going from 10,000 a day, eventually I was just trying to compete to beat some of my friends and some of my family. So I started doing like, well, I think I can get 11,000, or hey, I got 11,000 every day for this week. I think I can do 12. And so that started gradually building and building. And so if you look at my chart, you can see that I gradually progressed up and start really doing well. So that was another thing. So like your activity level, it's easy to go to the gym for an hour and say like I worked out hard and I got it, and then just take it easy for the rest of the day. But it's what are you doing for the 20 for not the rest of the day, but for the majority of the day. Hey, you can't walk all day. I mean, some people do and some people can, but like what's your day looking like? So that's why I always will use a Fitbit, just because it shows that those metrics. And I know some people have their Apple Watches, or some people will get a Fitbit, but they'll get the ones without the heart rate monitor. A pedometer is a great tool, but I like the information I get with having a heart rate monitor built into my Fitbit. So that's really been something that's been key to helping me get active, but making that information useful. I know a lot of people use their phones, and that if that's what you have, use it. But if you're going to spend the money to get a Fitbit, spend the extra $20 or $30 to get a Fitbit that has a heart rate monitor. In the long run, you'll be grateful. And then also, so when I started doing those two things, my weight started changing. So started like slowly ebbing down. And so I think I started the meal prepping going into the end of December of 2015. So in January of 2016, I even had the Fitbit scale, so that does the body fat tracking, and it automatically synced everything. So, I was very high speed with that. But yeah, my weight started very steadily going down. Sometimes it'd spike up, but it'd go down, and there was a consistent pattern. So from January 2016 to about March, April, I lost 30 pounds. And I had the results I was looking for of, wow, I had a six pack and I was proud. And then after that, I still would mostly food prep, but then I would allow myself to cheat a little bit more, go out with friends, get a burger, have beers and stuff. And so my weight would still bound up and down, but it stayed consistently low for that entire time. So it wasn't just 2016. I was like, wow, going into 2017 I was stayed thin. I had my six pack. And it wasn't until 2018 when I got kind of busy and I let myself slide on the eating. I thought, you know what? I'm already gonna be working. Let me just go ahead and eat. I kind of lost focus. So now that I'm back into eating and taking care of myself, I'm doing those same things. It's annoying to track your food. And so I use MyFitnessPal to enter in religiously what I'm eating. So to make it easier on myself, so I'm not always having to enter in every random item, I have taken out a lot of the diversity out of my food. So I'll always have like 4 ounces of protein for dinner or 4 ounces of protein for lunch, and then a combination of carbs. So in that time, I can easily plug and play things into my meals. So what did I have for dinner yesterday? I had 4 ounces of protein and either 1 or 2 veggies to split things up. And so, especially when you pre-cook some of that stuff, so especially when you come home from a long day, it's easier. You don't turn to fast food. And especially when I was in South Carolina, it was very easy to swing by Checkers and grab just a large order of fries, because their fries are amazing. So when I could figure out how to overcome the little challenges, and like, when won't I follow this? That's the biggest thing for anyone trying to adhere to a diet, is discover when you have the initial motivation to, I want to lose weight, but what are you doing? What are the obstacles that are going to come up later on? Hey, is it I always cheat when I go out with my friends and drinking? Is it, hey, at the end of a long day, I don't want to cook the stuff that I've made? Or maybe it's, hey, I've cooked this stuff, I don't want to eat it because I don't like the taste. And so sometimes switching up how you're seasoning the meat, how you're cooking it, even just getting a cast iron skillet and switch can change things. I mean, I'm not a fan. I don't do that baked and plain chicken, just chicken breast. Like I like a little bit of flavor, and if I need some hot sauce, that's fine. But I like to make sure I'm actually enjoying what I'm eating. So for me, I went down to 200, hanging around there. When I moved back to San Diego, I went actually up back to like to 210. And that's not the biggest deals, but it's not 200 pounds, and the look that I wanted was fading. So I had to go back into cutting out the eating out and focus on my nutrition just to get back to an even 200 pounds. And I loved it. So right now, what I'm doing is my birthday is coming up in April. The goal is to make as much progress as I can first the entire year. Don't just set a short-term goal and then just forget about it. Like it's a lifestyle change. Don't just fall for a diet. But what I'm doing is I have a goal is to be as strict as I possibly can be till April, just to help shock my body back on track. So right now I'm back up to 230. I don't necessarily look the same as when I did back in 2015, especially just I have put on muscle, I still have an outline, but I'm just not where I'm at. So I'm just sticking to those basics, and that's kind of the key of it. If you do want to lose 30 pounds, and that's what my goal is, I actually want to get below 200. I haven't been 200 previous to 2016 to now. I haven't been 200 since high school, and that was one of the things that I hate seeing on Facebook is, a lot of the people you went to high school with, like they immediately assume in your 20s or like your late 20s or your 30s that like you have to like, yeah, everyone puts on weight and that's, that just happens. And I like the fact that when I turned 31, like I was in better shape than I was in my 20s. And so that's my goal is to hit my birthday. I'll be 34 and just be in better shape than I was at 24. And I know that's achievable, but it's just sticking to those basics of, hey, I need to meal prep. I need to find out ways to make sure that I'm eating the food, because what's the good of having a fridge full of healthy things that you're just not going to eat? And then also bring it with you, pack snacks, because sometimes your day can randomly go long, and so you just need to be able to have something that like, hey, have almonds, have some of that stuff. So right now, this is the start of my goal. I've been a week back onto the healthy lifestyle, and I've already lost 2.5 pounds. The goal is to get the 30 off, and that's going to happen. But actually, I want to see about getting down to 190. That's definitely something I haven't been since my high school days when I was wrestling, and I know I can do it, but it's just going to take being consistent. So that's how I lost 30 pounds, and that's how I'm going to lose 30 pounds again. So if you want to stick with me on my journey, please make sure to subscribe and tell me if you have been in this same position where you've lost weight and you gained it back. Like, tell me, when was that and what caused you to lose it back? I'll try to interact with everyone in the chat, but I'm just curious, just because like I can't be the only one who's like, hey, you lost some weight and then you gained it back. And it's just very encouraging to know, and find out what everyone has, what obstacles have gotten in people's way, because the only way you can get past those obstacles is kind of spot them out again. So my name is Michael James. This has been Foodie and Fit. I'll catch you later.